Hey everybody. I wanted to sit down and do a sort of talking style video. This is actually kind of partially inspired by a recent video that Papa Garbodor put out, and these are actually just a bunch of things that have been in my mind for the last several months that I kind of wanted to sit down and talk about for a while. Once I saw the video he put out, I was kind of like, okay, maybe this is the right time. So I guess firstly, I haven't been feeling all that great about a lot of different things and about the channel. And a lot of those feelings really started back in January when I first got the surgery. It was super physically taxing. It was exhausting. I had to learn how to walk again, how to stand up by myself, how to walk across the street to the store. I was on constant, narcotics, really strong narcotics. I was on hydrocodone and I was in a state of pain every second that I was awake. That didn't ever stop until about a month ago. And I think that all of that by itself really puts you into a certain state of mind. But what made it really worse is that nobody really seemed to give a damn. Nobody around me. When I'm kind of going out and I'm like, hey, I won't be able to hang out with anybody for a while because this is what I'm going through, or I won't be able to make videos for a while. This is what I'm going through. I'm having a surgery. I'm still recovering. I'm having complications. Nobody ever really gave a fuck. And the people who did check on me, which wasn't a lot, I can probably count them all on one hand. The people who did check on me, they only really checked on me as a segue to talk about something else. Or they did it one time just to say that they did it, and then it was like a short 2-5 minute conversation, and that was kind of that. That really makes you feel like utter dog shit, for lack of better words. Then with all of that came with it, and being mentally fucked up also because of the hydrocodone use, I was like not even conscious for a lot of those days. There was a lot of weight gain. I put on about 50 pounds, something like that. That's like 23 kilograms for you, since most of you are a European audience. And with all of those things, I got really lazy with everything that I do, and that sort of translated into the work ethic, which really fucking died. I do have another episode of the Emerald Kaizo that's been done for months now, and I just haven't dropped it because I haven't played since I recorded that. I don't have anything really continuing on and whatnot. And that's a really shitty feeling, to like have all these different series that I enjoy and that I was doing really, really good at being consistent at, and just saying like, yo, I haven't touched that. I haven't thought about that. I haven't looked at it in so long. It's disappointing. Then there was a lot of, issues personally, like there always is. I think I mentioned it to you, but I don't know if it was the whole bank or if it was just my account, but my bank account got hacked into, and somebody transferred every dollar that I had to the Pentagon, which is a government group building. Really fucking weird. The money was sent to a local football stadium. It was sent to all types of places, and I lost $19,000. And seeing that, I went straight to the police station, and there's really not a lot they can do. They were just like, it's sort of on your bank. There's not shit that we can do, but here's a police report that we filed out for you. And the bank was no help, and just constant phone conversations for hours a day, every single day, trying to find answers, getting different responses to things. Then the next phone call, I keep getting told that last person is wrong, and so on and so forth. It was just an infinite fucking cycle, calling lawyers for advice, and then going to do that, going back and forth while I'm barely able to walk, going back and forth 2 kilometers away, a little over a mile away, to back and forth between the house and the bank, trying to find answers in person, not finding shit. And eventually, after it must have been a month, I finally got my goddamn money back over the company, the bank, not getting the paperwork that a manager sent for me on my behalf. It was all just so stupid. And even now, I'm still trying to get in touch with any type of lawyers or police about it, because I want justice for what happened. I've been robbed, and whoever did it should be punished, but I just keep getting told, oh, well, COVID, so nobody works here anymore, or people don't pick up their phones anymore, or it's, hey, you have 3 years before your case gets closed, and no detectives picked it up yet, and there's nothing we can do, and it probably never will get picked up. And it's like, wow. Then I'm having trouble with the disability insurance that I'm owed, because I file and they send me a notice saying, hey, we have a couple of questions for you, call this number. And I do, and it goes straight to machine, and nobody ever picks up. So they send another one and another one and another one, and it's the same thing. And I finally have enough strength to go downtown, which I live right outside of downtown. I finally have the strength to go downtown, hop on a bus, and to go see them in person. And I shit you not, the disability office is flooded. And it's been a week since they flooded now, and they're still closed. And they say we're probably not going to be open at all for a long ass time. So now I'm stuck with having to go to another city just to get the money to support myself, because I've been completely draining all of my savings. It's getting, I don't even feel frustrated at any of my situations anymore. I just feel like this might as well happen right now. That's kind of all that that's kind of my only reaction to things. With trying to juggle all that on my plate, I'm sorry for rambling there for a bit. Trying to juggle all that and being in that fucked up headspace because of all those different things. I just really didn't want to work on anything. And then there would be days where I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't have anything to do today. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to be my super hyper productive self, right? There are times where I've made 4 videos in a single day, like from recording to editing to export, all done. I've pumped out so much shit before, and why can't I just sit down and do this now? And then I start to realize, like, yo, I can't focus on anything. Even if I've already recorded something months ago and I'm sitting down trying to edit it, I just can't stay focused on it for more than a couple minutes, 20 minutes maximum. Then I have to go clean this, and then I have to go organize this, and then I have to go touch this, and it's crazy. So I sought professional help, and they did tell me that, hey, you have ADHD, and with your ADHD, you also have OCD. Which I've felt like I've had OCD for a very long time now. I've been feeling that way since maybe high school. But the more I think about my life, the more I'm like, yo, there were so many signs that I had this mental disability, and everybody who should have been capable of recognizing it totally missed it, totally ignored it even. It was just, I don't know. In the moment, I didn't really feel anything. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I've thought this for a couple of weeks now. I thought it was either this or, some form of autism, and I'm not surprised by this. And yeah, it is what it is. That's cool. That's cool that I was right. But as time keeps going on, I'm like, yo, all of these goddamn signs, and it was just the explanation for all these things that I've completely never thought about. It was almost like a giant culture shock, that's been on my mind lately, and I haven't talked about it a whole lot, which I know you guys were mostly surprised by when I mentioned it for the first time on a live stream. And I was like, yeah, I've got it. And I believe I was apologizing to Bachmaster for completely forgetting to look at a couple of recommendations he made me, which I finally got back to him about. But my therapist let me know, like, hey, this is what's severely affecting your memory and your focus and shit. And when I finally kind of come out to all of you in the live stream, I get these sorts of comments, which, one, they're not funny because they don't make any sense, right? They don't have to do with any symptom of it. They're not connected to anything that I'm going through, anything that anybody with the condition is going through. Two, it's really kind of fucked up that anybody would make a joke about somebody's disabilities like that, especially if it's not a funny joke. Comments like these, or when things happen and there's the lack of comments, obviously that's not everybody, right? And there is always at least that one person who's like, take your time, do what you've got to do. I always love and appreciate that. But comments like these, and then the people who just don't give a fuck when certain things happen, that really bothers you for a long time. And that fucks with you for a really fucking long time. It's something that you don't really, or at least I don't really get out of my head. It's just kind of there in the back of my mind for years. It will be there for years and years and years. So all of this going on, and then there are the times where I do sit down and I'm like, you know what? I'm live streaming 5 days a week. Up until recently, I was doing the questions of the day every single day, even when, nobody was really responding to them. And then there was times where I'm recording like a motherfucker, right? Those of you who were Yu-Gi-Oh fans, I spoiled you with like a 3-day marathon of uploads and shit, and that I took a long time to edit and record. And basically what I'm saying is, when I do set things up, there's such a low turnout for these kind of things that it's like, why did I bother? And there's reasons for everything, right? Like with the live streams, maybe the time isn't ideal. Maybe it's because you guys are just busy from this hour to this hour and everybody has shit going on, and that's cool and all. But like when it's a constant thing, it's almost like, why do I live stream? Because then it's like, there have been polls that we've had, and it's, okay, what time do you want me to stream? And I remember doing this specifically, and everybody, the majority of people, vote on a specific time, and I start streaming at that hour every day, and nobody shows up still. Then we have the Minecraft event. With the Minecraft event, everybody was excited for it. People are signing up and shit. We're making the rolls. I spent every minute of my free time building levels for you guys to go through, and just stuff that would be really, really fun, setting shit up. I was paying for a server so that we could all hop on, and I waited for an hour and nobody showed up again. And it's just been happening over and over and over again. And that's why when Ptashik had originally suggested a Pokemon Showdown video, I voted no, because I was like, there's nobody showing up and I'm sick of doing this. I'm sick of this kind of disappointment. You know, if there's a video that takes me months to edit, and I mean like actually actively trying to work on it, and it takes me several months, and it gets 3 views, and it's a confusing feeling too, because there's always that part of me that like never forgets it's not you guys' fault, and there's always stuff that I as a content creator can work on. I'm only saying that it adds to my lack of motivation, and when I sit down and I'm like, do I really want to do this, or do I want to go clean? Part of my logic, honestly speaking, is, well, you know, it's not going to do well. It's going to do worse than what all my other stuff usually does, and I'm not going to get any likes on it. I'm not going to get a single comment. If I do get a comment, it's going to be the same 2 or 3 young Spanish fans asking me to react to something that I've already told them 3 times. I've already reacted to it, and it's already on my channel. Those are the only comments I get now. I don't feel like making the content is worth it now. Especially since I've been, you know, working on this YouTube for 6 years now. And I'm not the most consistent person, unfortunately. But when it's a group thing, you know, there were supposed to be 3 of us. Ivan only ever made 2 videos. And then during the times where he is able to sit down and record something, we're busy. Me and Brandon are busy. Brandon doesn't really edit much. Even the videos that he's been a part of with me, behind the scenes or in front of the camera, there's not a lot of them, right? The channel is easily at least 90% run by me for the last 6 years. Then Jonathan joins, and Jonathan's awesome. Jonathan is super active. He has hella ideas for things. He sits down and he tries his best, even though he's never done any of these kind of things either. And he pumps out some really funny shit a lot of the time. Or if it's not the funniest thing, it's entertaining by some means or another. But then not being able to rely on anybody else to edit his stuff, all of this is exhausting. It's been an exhausting 6 years, and I'm really, between the lack of motivation and sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the lack of the support, I'm really burned out. And on the subject of homeboys, you know, we're not all pulling our weight in terms of contributing to the channel, and we've been having a lot of issues lately in our personal life too, where about a month ago, a little more than that now, Brandon kind of disappeared. A lot of the reason why he was never around on the channel was, I've mentioned it before, he didn't live in the city anymore. You know, he moved up to the Bay Area. He was like an hour away from San Francisco. He had hella school, 40 hours a week. Then he had to work at least 40 hours a week, lots of overtime. They weren't forgiving, they weren't lax for anything. He couldn't get any type of free time with that going on. He didn't even get holidays. He was only allowed to come back home for like 3 days out of the whole year. And it had to be like 3 days in a row. And then we don't see him for another year. So he really couldn't contribute, but we all got super, super happy when he moved back to Los Angeles, you know, because I'm not going to go into personal details because that's his life and that's his business, but we were really excited, and I specifically was spending a lot of time with him, and I mean a lot of fucking time with him, and we were hanging out and texting every single day, and you know, he was starting a new job, and I was really happy for him. It was the first job that he found since he moved back here, and he's been looking for a long time, and then he disappeared. He stopped answering us on the group chat. He doesn't answer our text messages. When we hit his phone number, I visited the house and he's not there. And there's drama going on, and nobody in his family knows what's happening. They keep asking, his relatives keep contacting me saying what's going on with him. And I don't know, because we don't hear from him anymore. He didn't respond to our birthday wishes, and leaving as much personal stuff out as I can. It just hurt that, someone I spent so much time with, someone who was the only person really there for me at all throughout my entire recovery process. Once he came back, we started working out together, and he was being very considerate of what I could do, what I couldn't do. He was encouraging me for a lot of shit. Then to have him ghost us out of the blue, when, that's not just our best friend, that's our brother. Me, him, Ivan were brothers. Me and Jonathan were brothers. And I've known these people for at least half of the time I've been on this planet. And for him to disappear like that for this long, I've been insanely depressed about it. Insanely depressed. And I don't even have time to really be depressed about that too. And it's not just me. Ivan's depressed about it. And even though they've never met, Jonathan asks about him too. Just out of concern for me and Ivan. So with that, I still have all these constant doctor's appointments. I'm getting x-rays again soon to see if my condition is worse than we thought, to see if I need a second surgery. And I don't even bother bringing these kind of things up anymore, because who cares? Who cares? Lately, I've had a new routine where I'm seeing Ivan up to 3 times a week, and I'm working out with him. I'm seeing Jonathan basically every single day now, and I'm working out with him. Then I'm at home and I'm doing more workouts, and I'm trying to get as strong as I can. So I'm going to have to just deal with this pain and go back to work. And it's going to be an entire other war. It's not just a battle. It's going to be a lifelong war that I'm going to have to deal with. And I've been slacking with the channel, dealing with these kind of things. And that also kind of got me thinking, like, how happy would I be if that was just my life? Because it's cool, and I should be proud of myself, and I'm being encouraged for what I'm doing. But at the same time, it's like I don't enjoy it as much as I could, because I think of it as I have to do all this to get to normal physically. So I don't have as much time throughout the day to do all of this stuff. I think of that as, which is the priority for my health, as taking away from this kind of time. And so I've been kind of playing around with the idea, and I think I want to take a break, because I don't want to leave the channel for good, because I still love it. I don't know. I think I need to figure some things out. I think I need to step away and leave this alone so I could juggle all the other things on my plate. Trying to learn programming and art, trying to deal with my rehabilitation. I for sure want to stick around for the Soul Links and the other collab projects, because the Soul Link with Chemic has been really, really fun. I'm actually running late to record this now, and there's been a couple of other people who've asked to play something with me, and I really want to do that. But I think as soon as those are done, I'm gonna kind of just put everything down and walk away from it for a bit, and really figure out, is it still worth the effort? Because I don't know.